A is essential. So let me record the Q&A. I'm going to speed it up a bit though. So just as to save some time, because I see there's a lot of time left in this. Yeah. So let's get it.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sashana Small. I'm a reporter at the Glino. I have questions for both of you. Jesse, as it relates to the graph that you showed showed the contamination in our water, the 5% in the Kingston and St. Andrew area, is that figure representative of all of Kingston and St. Andrew, or is it specific to a particular plant, water treatment plant?
Embarrassing.
You're saying essentially that the water that we're drinking is unsafe. If you could, can you explain to us, what are some of the risks in drinking water with coliform?
Embarrassing.
All right. Thank you for your question. So just if I don't know if you're able to project the chart. So the chart is being projected again. So what we're saying, as you see the bars, the purple bar, that indicates for this at the source, that's where the water treatment is taking place. So after I've treated the water, they test the water to see if the treatment has worked. And the yellow bar is in distribution, that means at your pipes. So what we are saying is that in Kingston and St. Andrew, in some sections, especially your rural areas, so for example, persons who are served from the Griffin water treatment plant, Susie Spring, Belo, those areas, and there are other water treatment plants in rural areas that are affected, they will be getting this, they will have been getting this contaminated water. Now, the NWC, in their admission, after they admitted finally that they were having challenges, they have said that they have done flushing of the lines and so on to make the water safe for consumption for these residents. However, based on my visit to some of these sites, I know that more needs to be done in order for you not to have these results, to get these results back into the normal range. So that 5% coliforms you see running across the line going across, that's the standard. So anything above that is we're having issues, and you can see for the rural areas it's significantly above, and for your distribution for Kingston, St. Andrew, meaning urban centers, it's right at the borderline. So you asked about the coliforms. So the coliforms.
So the water in the area is at a 23% level of coliform before it's treated. When it's treated, it goes to 17, which is still too high over the safety line. That is more than 3 times the amount of coliform that rate that's supposed to be in the water. What is man doing? Mighty God.
These are organisms that are present in the intestines of warm-blooded animals, and also they're found in soil. So they're used as an indication of the quality of your water. So if you're having high levels of coliform, so these are bacteria or germs in the water, having high levels, it means that your treatment isn't working or your water supply is contaminated. So something is happening along the line that is causing these high numbers. And as you can see at source, for some of your rural treatment plants, they are at 23 when the allowable limit is 5. So what you could have happening is persons being exposed. So when you have high levels of coliform, it don't only mean that it's only coliforms present in the water, because they are indicator organisms. It means that they could have viruses in the water too as well, parasites in the water too as well. And as you know, parasites can damage the organs, they can damage the intestines. Viruses can cause diarrhea, vomiting, illnesses like that. What you have happened.
What can go so?
Dolphy Wagwan.
What the hell? Oh my God! No way!
People like and share the content here.
What has been saving us for the most part, especially persons in the rural areas, is that a lot of persons who can afford it, they buy water. That is part of the thing that has been happening, but it's not. That doesn't guarantee your safety, because when you have contaminated water in one area, you do not know where that water will end up. Because why I'm saying that is that people catch that water and then transport it to other areas. They use it for cooking in other areas. And when you buy water from water trucks, some of them, they go to these rural areas that are not as heavily monitored to get the water from the line. And then they come and sell it to different areas, even some water shops too as well.
Oh my God, I never thought about that. So not because the water is in this area, you cannot calculate how far the water will end up. That is a very good point. My goodness, I never thought of that, you know. No, we did in a class today.
So what you have happening, once you have them putting out water that is not safe, that don't meet their own standards, it means that you are putting the entire population at risk. And sometimes when people get sick, they don't believe that is probably coming from the water. They probably attribute it to other source because they're expecting high quality water that should be coming from the pipe. But what we are saying is that if your own results are showing that it's not meeting the standards, you need to do something to not expose the public to this.
Man, listen.
I have a question as well for Dr. Dawes. Dr. Dawes, the report that you cited was done last year, and I've spoken to administration at KPH, and they said that since that assessment was done, steps were taken to address the mole in those areas that you highlighted, the urology areas and so forth. Are you disputing this?
Anybody can say that they're taking steps, but what sort of steps? If they're definitive steps, then there shouldn't be any problem at all for the clinics to be moved back into the areas that they have taken steps to address.
You see, I tell people, you know, you have to listen to the politicians when them talk, you know. Right? You're taking steps. What steps? How far does those steps go? Does it take you from here to the ocean or from here to inland? Right? Are those efficient steps? Are the steps that you're taking changing anything for the positive? You can't take all type of step. You can't step in a one place and say I take step. What does that mean? So the media, we the media have to do a better job. And especially the mainstream media. When asking these people questions, you see, journalism is an art, you know. Journalists have to be fierce and they have to be sharp. Because when she asked the healthcare minister that and he gave her that answer, yes, Mr. Tufton, you say you're taking steps. What are these steps and how effective have they been to making sure that the hospital can be open without mold? How long is the steps going to take? Is there a timeline? What is the timeline? So we can expect the hospital to be open at this time. They don't ask these questions. They just hear them say it and that's it. Right?
They can't. The clinics are held in another area and they have partitions and less rooms than before because it is still not rectified. And this is the same thing I was speaking about before. The administrations of the institutions need to stop covering up for the policymakers at the Ministry of Health. If they continue to do so, then they're going to be thrown under the bus and we'll never solve the problems. So to make a vague statement like steps were taken, it is not telling the truth. It is specious. It may seem like they were addressing it, but it is not being addressed. It has not adequately been addressed. And if we continue along this path, we're going to get Cornwall 2.0.
Cornwall 2.0. Mighty God.
Help. We key out of the ladder right.
Immediate divine intervention. With right.
People, Dalfi, what you say? You feel sad the water you drink me that happened to you? Whoa.
Thank you. We recognize Jason Cross online from the Jamaica Observer. Please unmute and go ahead with your question.
Hi, morning everyone. Hi, Nickesha. Dr. Dawes, over what period did those overseas trips happen? And based on the information that you have, where did the minister go?
Well, from now on, I've made a commitment not to share or say anything publicly without having my receipts. And I literally have my receipts right here, and we can make them the redacted itinerary available to the public that shows that the business class tickets, they are over $3.3 million.
Yo, I love this. Yo, I'm enjoying this. I like when people that lie get caught in their lie. I am loving this. We need more exposure. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Dawes. Publish the receipts. Let me find it. Man, let me look on Twitter if they published them already.
With the only economy legs in and out of Jamaica. So that can be made available for your perusal. As to why he's there and why he's traveling, that can be ascertained from the Ministry of Health.
Do you have a follow-up, Jason? Another question for you, Dr. Dawes. Are you satisfied with the government's response with the Cuban doctors and their relationship with Jamaica?
Again, it was a nebulous response, and we are still left with no clear answer as to what is happening. So it has been the norm for several outgoing prime ministers in the Caribbean to speak definitively on where they stand with respect to the Cuban medical program. I think it's only fitting that our own outgoing prime minister speaks about it definitively.
Another question here says, any update on the billions of dollars unaccounted for at the Ministry of Health?
Well, they have a deadline. I believe it's either, I think it's May. I don't know where they are with respect to that. Again, the response was that it spans administrations, not accepting any fault or responsibility, to say that, after 9 years, you could have caught up with what the other administration left and not add to that backlog. But it's the modus operandi that we have to deal with. We just hope that we can get some fulsome answers, because there are some serious questions that need to be asked about the spending of taxpayer dollars at the Ministry of Health. And I think nothing short of a fulsome audit of some projects would be warranted.
Emotional damage.
Empress 30, how you doing? What did you say, Mr. Dawes? A fulsome what?
It's the modus operandi that we have to deal with. We just hope that we can get some fulsome answers, because there are some serious questions that need to be asked about the spending of taxpayer dollars at the Ministry of Health. And I think nothing short of a fulsome audit of some projects would be warranted when we assume office.
There's a question for Councillor Jesse James.
I agree.
What's your message to residents of Kingston and St.
I
Andrew?
agree.
Should they be drinking water from their pipes today?
Right, so my message based on the response from until NWC comes out and share the results, and also tell us the infrastructure work that was done to improve the water treatment process in a lot of these facilities. They should definitely, I recommend they should always boil the water before you drink it. And I know a lot of persons use household filters. Those are also helpful to as well to get some of the contaminants out of your pipe. And you see the evidence too. When you're changing those filters, you see what is left back in them too as well. So, and wherever you are, not only in Kingston, St. Andrew, but on the island, and you're getting any indications of poor water quality, to report it. And we want all the municipalities across the island to pay attention to the reports that are coming in from both NWC and the Ministry of Health, and to question where these samples were taken and when they were taken.
Accountability,
Just
man.
one other thing that I didn't touch on.
Go through, Mr.
Cancer
Dawes.
care. We are facing a cancer crisis. At much better. We are currently facing a cancer crisis. If you look at the Kingston Public Hospital that does a lot of the cancers, because they cannot get CAT scans and MRIs to properly stage the diseases and work up patients, even get proper investigations like colonoscopies to diagnose the cancers at an earlier stage, we're seeing far more advanced cancers being presented and cared.
Wow.
The outcomes are a lot worse. Since they stopped the outsourcing of diagnostic equipment, the government stopped paying for it. A lot of people who cannot afford these diagnostic equipment simply cannot get them. And so they have to wait for inordinately long periods of time to come up with the funds before they can get these scans, and that delays definitive treatment. It simply means that if you are poor and cannot afford to pay for private diagnostics right now, you are far worse than somebody who can call in a favor or find the money to pay for such diagnostics. It has reached even the point where simple hernias, we're not operating on simple hernias, we're operating on hernias when they get complicated and present as an emergency. This is just showing you how bad things are, because these are the conditions that, if treated in a timely manner, would never get to the stage where there are an emergency. But we are facing a cancer crisis in Jamaica, and the numbers are telling us the true picture.
Why, people? That one is serious. And the reason why I'm going to even comment on it is because what has just come to my mind is the amount of imported food that the government is importing. That's only going to compound the situation, you know? The imported food is only going to compound the situation, ladies and gentlemen. No, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dawes and Councillor Jesse James. Jason Cross asked earlier, where is the Minister of Health at this time? And as Dr. Dawes outlined to you, we have a copy of his particulars. It's not our practice to make these public, but we believe in transparency and accountability. And we know the Minister of Public Relations, the Minister of Public Health and Wellness, Mr. Tufton, will come to the public with his own spin on this. What has been brought to our attention is that he's somewhere in Asia, somewhere in India, Dubai, Manila, Hong Kong, Delhi, New York, somewhere along that trip. Doing what? We don't know. Could it be that he's searching for replacements for the Cuban doctors who've served Jamaica well over the multiple years? Could it be that he's on a personal trip? We are not sure. We also do not know if it is a taxpayer that is paying for this $3.3 million trip, but we hope that when he gets back home safely, he will alert the country as to the nature of his trip. What we've heard here today confirms what Jamaica already knows. Our healthcare system is stretched to a breaking point, and the government is not moving apace with urgency or the focus that the moment requires. With operating rooms shut, wards compromised, and basic medical tools out of reach, can we honestly say that an expensive trip overseas right now should be the priority of the minister and the leadership at the Ministry of Health? These are questions of priorities, of leadership and responsibility to the Jamaican people. The People's National Party is demanding more than just acknowledgement. We're demanding action. Immediate remediation at the KPH, independent testing, and full transparency around hospital safety. We want strengthened systems to ensure our water supply meets acceptable standards. Is that too much to ask for? and clear accountability from the Ministry of Health on how funds are being spent. This is about the people. It's about ensuring that every Jamaican, regardless of status, has access to safe water, decent health care, and leaders who put Jamaicans first. This has been a press conference from the People's National Party, and we will continue to hold this government accountable, even if we have to drag them there. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, y'all, please remember to hit the like button. I know y'all come in sometimes and y'all forget, but the main thing, man, y'all gotta hit the like button, man.
My God.
And share the live stream. Come on now. Stop playing. Support, support, support. The like button is free, heard?
Yep.